Hello out there and welcome to today's Search Engine Journal webinar. Hope you're having a great day and we're super thrilled to have you here joining us. And I am joined by Jason Tatum. He is the VP of Product at CallRail. And then we'll also have Preston Boiling joining us in the breakout room. But Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Heather. I'm going to be your moderator today. We are going to be talking, or specifically Jason's going to be talking about how you can use phone call insights to really drive data-driven marketing strategies. So excited to see what he has to bring to the table. First, I'm going to go through some housekeeping and just let you all, make yourselves comfortable. While I'm going through this, let us know where you're calling in from, and let us know what your weather is like, because I don't know about you, we all had our first snow, so it's a little bit chilly here as we move into the fall and winter season. All right, so use hashtag SEJ webinars to share any cool tidbits from today on social. If you experience any technical difficulties, use the chat box to let us know. We've got Jonathan in the back to help filter anything that you do need. We have closed captioning. It's the little CC in the top right corner. You can give that a click if you need it. And we will be taking questions at the end of the presentation. So add any questions that you have to the chat or to the Q&A tab. In the Q&A tab, there's a function to give it a little thumbs up. So if it's a question that you like and would like us to try to front load that and ask it, let us know, give it that little upvote. As I mentioned, there will be a breakout room starting when the Q&A starts, and you can join Preston. He's going to dig into more of the CallRail platform and take any questions that you have that might be specific to that. And with that, we ask that if you can stick around for 30 seconds after the webinar to help us take that survey. It lets us know what you thought of today's webinar, how we can make them more useful for you in the future. And you will absolutely receive today's recording. You'll get the slides, and those will be in your email inbox later today, so watch for that. And that's it. That's all of the housekeeping I have. So Jason, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'll be back at the Q&A.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. So here today to talk about what 100 million phone calls reveal about data-driven marketing and some of the things that you can do to get that value out of your own phone calls. So real quick about me, I am not the basketball player for the Boston Celtics. I know that is probably why a lot of you people signed up, but I'd encourage you to stay. If the Celtics, Jason Tatum, were here, he would be saying the same things about data-driven marketing. So stick around. I have a background in technology as well as nonprofit marketing and PR, and I've joined CallRail 7 years ago next week as a product manager. And today I'm the VP based in Atlanta, Georgia, where I was born and raised, except for 3 years spent living in the UK. So if you are in Birmingham, in the Selly Oak neighborhood, we used to be neighbors. Along with driving quality products that make life better for those who work in small businesses, I also love cycling, smart urbanism, and constant reading. So CallRail by the numbers. CallRail, just a little bit about us. We're an AI-powered lead intelligence platform built around call tracking and conversation insights. We've tracked well over 1 billion calls, which translates to over 500 billion spoken words. That is why we have 200,000 plus businesses on the CallRail platform, along with 7,000 agency partners. So let's get into it. We're here to talk about what phone calls and specifically what they reveal regarding data-driven marketing. In a nutshell, calls and specifically the conversations captured in those calls are a goldmine of insights. The term phone call does conjure up images of 90s TV actors picking up coil-corded handsets perched on kitchen walls. I'm seeing must-see TV Friday nights on ABC. Like, that's the image I get. The phone call has earned a reputation as kind of a dinosaur of the sales and marketing world. And it often seems ripe to be replaced by its shinier descendants like the text message, the live chat, and the virtual receptionist. In all honesty, phone calls present a lot of headaches compared to digital conversations, like live chats or form fills, as I'm sure you well know. Phone calls are trickier to track and attribute to your marketing efforts. It's hard to associate phone call data with leads or customer profiles in your other marketing tools like Salesforce or HubSpot. Basically, connecting the customer journey from the offline to the online is an age-old problem. Most critically, in the past, phone calls only provided quantitative data like time and duration. If you log into your standard VoIP system, the reporting is not what you call robust, is certainly in terms of attribution. They weren't deeply analyzed the way text-based conversations were for things like keywords and sentiment or trends, because phone calls require people to manually listen for insights. However, consumers prefer phone calls for a lot of the types of transactions, those high-stakes purchases, such as in healthcare, insurance, where fully 2/3 of consumers prefer calling over any type of contact. And I'd be shocked if many people would disagree with that. Like, there are certain high-stakes, important interactions to have with a business that you just want the phone. You just want to be able to talk to somebody live. It happens every day. So a business's inbound callers are arguably some of their best leads. These callers show super high buying intent. Some say they convert at 10 to 15 times higher than inbound web leads. They show obvious consent by contacting you. They represent an efficient conversion path, especially for issues or products that are more complex or when a caller needs immediate help. And calls aren't going anywhere. In today's mobile-first world, the phone call is alive and well. Think about it. Click to call is a lot easier than filling out a web form or chatting or texting back and forth. And particularly form fills, as a consumer, whenever you submit a form fill on a website, there's always this fear of, is this just going into a black hole? Is anyone ever going to respond back to me? It's dealer's choice. So it's mining the conversation is gold. Some businesses have long realized that conversations provide some of the richest insights you can get about buyers' needs and motivations. But most businesses have been sitting on this gold without mining it. We intentionally use mining as a metaphor for digging into call and conversation data. If you think about it, the olden days of mining for precious minerals, people used pickaxes and hammers to chip away in pitch black tunnels with nothing but faint headlights and basic instruments to guide them. That is not unlike many businesses today who are in the dark about what their phone calls are telling them. But with advances in technology, automation, and AI, we no longer need to be in the dark or manually struggle to mine for insights. Today, I'm going to cover where we are and where we're going in terms of mining those insights, and then make sure that you know what world is out there to make your life easier and to show you kind of the way forward. So let's talk about the first era of mining gold from phone calls, which has been building in recent years. We've known for a long time that businesses have been in the dark about what makes their phone ring, about what campaigns bring their first leads. So the first era of mining revolves around call tracking, near and dear to our hearts at CallRail, and it includes providing call attribution. In other words, shining a light on the marketing campaigns or efforts and sources that drive those phone calls. It includes recording and transcribing calls so that frontline managers or marketers can selectively review those calls and find ways to improve agent performance. And it includes qualifying leads based on keywords spotted from call transcription. It can also include passing call data to CRM solutions like HubSpot to offer a complete picture of your buyer's journey, including offline interactions like those phone calls. All of these things enable tracking of true marketing ROI, which in turn allows marketers to spend more on their highest performing ads that drive the most high quality leads and spend less time on the marketing that doesn't. So let me illustrate these capabilities with a simple example. Here is a scenario in the legal services space. This is Jennifer. Jennifer is looking for a family attorney, and she and her husband are planning to adopt a child. She goes to Google and searches family attorney near me and finds a local law firm, Langley & Lawrence, amongst sponsored results, and clicks on it. She then views 3 pages on the Langley and Lawrence website and decides to call into the business via a unique tracking number on their website. She has a conversation. It's an informative, roughly 5-minute conversation with an intake agent at the firm who successfully schedules a consultation with an attorney. The agent marks Jennifer as a qualified lead, and that data is passed to Google, which in turn tells their algorithm to continue to spend to continue to send the firm more leads like Jennifer. All of this tracking allows Langley and Lawrence to quantify their cost per lead from Google Ads and compare that to other advertising channels they're using. They are then able to make smart spend allocation decisions across their marketing channels based on which are sending them the best leads. There is so much intelligence in the conversation, the phone call, that has been untapped. Although we've had conversation intelligence since 2016 at CallRail, in the past year, we have seen the biggest advancements driven by AI. Detecting keywords or phrases that are important to your business. Utilizing these keywords in automations and workflows. Is the customer here to buy something? What are they most interested in? What are their concerns? Is the person interested in a specific product or service? Do you actually provide that? Should you? We'll be sharing a great example later on. And sentiment, looking at the entire conversation. Did it change over time, etc. Agent performance. How did the agent perform on a specific call? Did they follow a playbook? What could they have done better, and what did they do well on? You can look at his across calls and see how they're performing and how they're trending over time. Call outcomes. Did this call result in a sale, an appointment booked, missed opportunity, times not available? And patterns across calls. Doing all of these across hundreds of thousands of calls based on time frame, channel, campaign, location, etc. And this is where you see that I had all of these to click through, and sometimes you just forget about changes in slides. So it goes. So why do we put so much focus on calls? Well, it's one of the richest sources of untapped intelligence. Compared to SMS, chat, and forums, it's almost 9x the amount of words per sessions. These are still important channels, but you can see there's much more data to mine. So towards the end of this discussion, I'll have a list of specific takeaways of what conversation data could improve. I'm going to just touch on the highlights. Lead conversion, customer experience, agent performance, and marketing optimization. Okay, I'm going to take a break. We're going to do a super quick exercise. I want everybody, and I'm being serious, I want you to take out your notes app on your computer or a piece of paper and a pen. I'll give you a second to do that. I'm serious. Get it out. All right. You ready? Another second. Scribble the pen. Okay. I want you to pull out a list of important aspects of this call. What did the customer want? What was their sentiment? Was an appointment set? What did the agent do well or could have improved on? I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go. Okay, 10 seconds is up. The challenge is extracting the gold. Scanning a single transcript for just a few nuggets is hard. But what about 10 calls, 100 calls, 1,000 calls? You couldn't get the intelligence you wanted due to lack of time, brain power, or any of the other human limiting factors. Mining transcripts of all your team's conversations is even harder. So this is the biggest challenge I'm describing when it comes to the intelligence in the phone call. We as humans literally don't have the mental capacity to do this at scale, or at least do it well. It's virtually impossible. So where does that leave us? Well, the simple answer today is superhuman AI. It's purpose-built to understand and analyze speech while officially understanding what happens in a single call or across multiple calls. The summary of the call, sentiment, keywords, action plan, etc. are all unlocked. And we were actually able to celebrate the conversation. So let's take a look at 2 examples of these AI-powered insights at work. Here's a real-world example amongst our customers of a plumbing and HVAC business that markets via paid search. Truck Wraps, Google My Business, formerly known as now Google Business Profile, I should say. We've anonymized the name of the customer and name of the business, and we're calling the business Complete Comfort. The customer calls 3 times over the course of 5 days on a complex issue. So 6-minute, 21-second, 825 spoken words. A homeowner named Danielle calls into Complete Comfort with a complex situation. Over the course of that 6-minute call, she describes how her hot water heater is backdrafting carbon monoxide and that she needs an appointment as soon as possible to check the water heater. She wants to understand if there's a fix or if it needs a full replacement. With call tracking and AI, you can quickly see the source of the inbound call. Based on the language in the call is marked as qualified. Without listening to the call or reviewing a call transcript, you can see a 2-sentence summary of that conversation. Plus, the fact that it was a positive sentiment call despite involving a complex issue. So just take a minute and take that in. That summary is a real summary. It was not doctored. It was available within seconds after the phone call. And the insights don't stop at what happened. They also include prescriptive insights on what you should do next. Here you can see the action plan or next steps that the AI recommends based on the conversation. And agent coaching tips on how the agent could have done things better or differently. It recommends confirming Danielle's zip code to determine if they're in the coverage area, ask more upfront questions to scope the work, and make sure the customer knows that a technician needs to fully scope the issue before providing an estimate. In a lot of cases, the AI makes very good and insightful EQ tips, like say things, it would be better say, I understand your frustration versus saying, I'm sorry. In Danielle's situation, Complete Comfort wasn't able to achieve a 1-call resolution based on the complexity of the situation. Now let's think about the power of AI when it's applied to a group of calls. In this case, 3 calls with Danielle. As I said earlier, a human would struggle summarizing 1 call, let alone a group of calls. That same summarizing capability can be applied to all 3 calls, and you can see the results here. It summarizes the backdrafting of the issue. It notes that a repair was unsuccessful. It notes that a direct vent or tankless water heater has been recommended and vetted by the gas company, and that the next step is to provide estimates for a replacement. Just like the recommendation AI made for an individual call, we can do those across 3 calls. This is important as we think about the handoffs between agents or reps from call to call. In an instant, agents can see the summary and recommended next steps and not skip a beat in serving the customer. And as for the frontline manager or business owner, think about the time savings and understanding how their team is performing. To fully understand the situation and its implications, they would have to spend 14 to 22 minutes reading transcripts or listening to recordings versus roughly 50 seconds reading summaries, action plans, and coaching tips. That's at least 94% time savings. And that's assuming those managers or business owners would even take the time to do these things. I've spent years as a product person talking to business owners that they first want to be able to monitor calls to know what's going on. And then they want to record those calls so then listen to them later. And then that's also really time consuming. And so then they go to transcripts. Transcripts are definitely better, but it takes time. Now we're talking about serious savings of time through AI summarization. What are the implications of seeing and acting on these quick insights? With the immediate visibility you get on conversations, a manager, owner, or even a marketer can scan for key insights on how calls are being handled with very little time investment. And as a business, you can have confidence that your agents or reps can quickly get the context they need to serve customers without hiccups in handoffs from agent to agent. This ultimately leads to an improved customer experience. Here's a business that specializes in only new concrete installation, like driveways and parking lots. Call length. I want to point out that it was over multiple calls over weeks of data. And yes, we analyzed calls that were about 1 minute or less. Do you sell concrete? I want to pour concrete. We don't sell here. Do you fix and seal concrete? No, I'm sorry, we do not. 76% of people calling this business from Google Ads that were under a minute wanted something the business didn't sell. Let me repeat that. 76%. You would have thought that maybe those were wrong numbers or spam, but look at the intelligence we uncovered. So what are the implications of what we just learned? This business should consider offering new services and products, or at a minimum explore a referral relationship. There's much upside to the business with new opportunities, but also eliminating ad spend. If you're an agency that represents a business, this allows you to be a trust consultant, either helping with growth suggestions or superpowered suggestions to improve marketing ROI and focus. And let's not forget that this type of AI technology could unlock similar business opportunities across different verticals. Law firms, consider adding new specialties if you get inbound or update how you market. Home services, maybe the business only does plumbing or electrical. Consider adding new specialties. Healthcare, this could be new health programs, and the list goes on and on. So how AI mined gold from calls can transform your business. Let's summarize why you should care about the gold mine of insights in your conversation data. Remember the example with Jennifer and the law firm. If you optimize your process to send the best leads from your best marketing sources, and you follow up with the right workflows, and you handle customer conversations with complete context and efficient next steps, this all supports better lead and customer conversion. AI-powered insights enable personalized interactions with leads to a better customer experience. Coaching tips and the aggregation of insights across groups of calls or by agent can reveal the opportunities to improve agent performance. And when all of these AI-powered insights are captured in your marketing stack, marketers can get a full picture of the lead journey and outcomes, whether they be digital or offline, which enables them to continue to drive better lead quality and marketing ROI. So if all this is leaving you asking, why should I care? Here are some thoughts. If you're a marketer, we know that your leads are only as good as their ability to convert. Even the highest quality leads won't convert if they're poorly handled. Marketers should be invested in how phone calls are managed, and AI insights are a way to monitor with little effort. In fact, it's a good way to investigate and respond to claims of low lead quality. And as we said before, AI can provide valuable voice of customer insights at your fingertips. If you're with an agency, AI-powered conversation insights allow you to stay close to your client's business and what their customers are saying. You can quickly see patterns, negative or positive, that you can act on with your client. And at the end of the day, have insights that help position you as a consultant and trusted partner. And if you're a business owner or manager, we know your time is your scarcest resource. AI-powered insights enables you to spend your time working on the business rather than in the business. It gives you firsthand knowledge of what your customers and agents are saying, but without being in the weeds. And AI elevates your focus on strategic matters like what delights your customers and what turns them off. And you can use your scarce time wisely. Selectively drill down into the areas where you should spend your time, like groups of negative sentiment calls. There's a perception that AI replaces human interaction or makes your business less human. And that's just not the case with voice AI and conversation-based intelligence that we're talking about. The innovation we just shared actually celebrates rather than replaces human interactions. It recognizes that traditional speech is one of the richest forms of data available. Rather than being a black tunnel of lost insights, phone calls now become a strategic weapon. Applying superhuman analysis on human conversations allows us to be more thoughtful about how to make interactions more meaningful and productive. Rather than distancing yourself from customers by placing a bot in between them, this form of AI draws you closer together, enabling you to better connect with your customers. Questions that you should be asking. Do you think you're attracting good leads, but results aren't showing it? Do you have an accurate view of how agents handle calls? Does your lead follow-up address the real needs of articulated in calls by customers? And what could you do with your voice of customer insights summarized across calls? So if you are wondering about putting some of those things into action, uh, being in CallRail and giving CallRail a trial is a great way to get a taste. Some of these things are early in development and making sure that we're productizing the right solution. You're seeing a lot of people today that are like just slapping a chat box into a UI and saying ChatGPT in this tool, and it's cool at first, but over time, it's not really solving core problems. And so at CallRail, we're really focused on how can we prescriptively solve those problems in a really tangible and meaningful way, and then making sure that we're able to pipe those insights and learnings into the tools you use every day, like Google Ads and HubSpot and Salesforce and GA4. If you're ready to give it a try, get started for free. You can use the QR code to the right and learn more and start a 14-day free trial and start experiencing what we're talking about in the lead intelligence space. So that is that. And I'll open it up to questions now.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Jason. All right. So we are going to open up the breakout room. You'll have, and then we're going to stay here and do Q&A. So if you want to stay here and you have any questions for Jason based on the research or anything that he presented, but again, we're going to have Preston in the breakout room to do a quick demo of the CallRail system and answer your questions there. So starting that breakout room now. A pop-up should have come. It says join a breakout room and it just says breakout room 1. You just click that and click join at the bottom. If you do want to come back to the main room, you can there's a switch up at the top that'll toggle that for you. Awesome. Okay, Jason, so while we're here, let's get to some Q&As.
Yeah.
So Tom asks, can you use AI to trigger emails or SMS? So is there anything on that side of it?
Yeah, you definitely can. We're actually in the R&D phase of exactly that. We're looking at 2 different paths. It's generating the actual content of based on the conversation. Here's exactly what should be in that text message. Here's what should be in that email. The results of that testing is really positive, and is very promising in terms of like how good it is. We want to make sure that we're going to still leave room for human review in editing. And then I think that whether it's in the CallRail system or we have an integration with like a MailChimp or something like that, I would expect to have those things out very, very soon.
Excellent. So Jennifer asks, how do you configure the green thumbs up to feedback to Google Ads to let it know if it's a good lead? How does that feedback get back into the AdWords platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. Today, we don't have that configuration yet. Part of the reason that is the case is that in the past, automated lead scoring in like a one-size-fits-all has been tough to be really good, to make it really good. And so most people want to configure that on their own, right? They want to qualify on their own because they have deep context. AI is going to unlock the power to be able to do that type of qualification very quickly after a phone call. And as that develops, the ability to set defaults, like only send qualified green thumbs to Google and not other things, or to differentiate will become available. But what it boils down to in the past is that you only get to send a phone call conversion to Google Ads once, and you want to do it usually as quickly as you can at the end of that phone call. And so it doesn't really account for post-call changes to annotations. But that's kind of the power of AI, is that we should be able to do that much faster and make that available in the near term.
Okay, perfect, Jason. But I'm also going to drop in the chat here. Sorry. I was typing AdWords, as we'll call it Google Ads because that's what it is now. But this webinar actually was a CallRail one that we had done earlier this year, late last year, on offline conversions for Google Ads. So Jennifer, take a look at that. That might help you. The guest went really in deep on that one.
Was that Laura Laurie that did it?
No, who was that? That was Michael Scott from Manticore. So I think you guys brought a client in with you on that one. But yeah, so that was a great webinar. So I would check that out. So I do have a couple questions that are based around the platform, which, we have Preston in the other room, but why don't we just take them while we're here? Raul is asking, up to how many conversions can you get done with a basic plan, and try that for a client?
I don't know that I understand the question. Like, how many can we do?
I think it's a pricing question. Like, is there tiered pricing? How many conversions can you get with your basic plan?
I see. Yeah. So if I recall correctly, I'm not always up to date on the latest and greatest in our pricing, but we don't price per conversion. We price, we have a very accessible base price, and then you pay by usage. So there's the base cost in all of this is recording and transcribing the phone calls, and we transcribe via AI, and then store all of that. And so as your business grows, because you're optimizing your marketing spends and learning more and getting more insights, driving more phone calls, as your business grows, we kind of grow with you on a usage base. I believe our introductory base is $45 a month, and it comes with 500 minutes, I believe, maybe 250. Check me. Don't quote me here. And it should come with 5 numbers to start.
Okay. Let's see. So this is a great question. So from Sfarani, how can your platform help us reduce existing customer calls through paid media and focus only on new customer calls? So maybe there's a way to segment them within the system when they come in.
Yeah, there is. You can really you can segment as they come in. It's kind of a base feature of CallRail, is to be able to distinguish between a first-time caller and repeat caller, and we keep track of how many interactions you've had. And that'll include form fills as well for that lead, and text messages, I should add. So it's pretty basic to zero in on, okay, here are all of my first-time callers, and here are the sources that are driving those phone calls. And so the power of CallRail is to optimize around what's driving that particular segment. So if you see that let's say Google Ads and direct mail are driving the most first-time callers, then you're going to want to experiment and put more dollars there to get more of those versus driving repeats.
How much of the, let me see, hold on a second. So how has the ability to transcribe calls grown in the last year, and where do you see it going? How do you see it, really playing a role in marketing strategies?
Yeah. So the several, more so rather than the last year, in the last over the last 5 or 6 years, where AI based transcription was really bad. When we first got into this, it was kind of hilarious, the transcripts that you would get. And we're very open in public about our partnership with Assembly AI, who provides some of the base technology that we're running through CallRail. And they won us over years ago with just near perfect transcription. It continues to get better because the voice-based large language models that Assembly is still producing, I think we're up to, I want to say 1.6 million hours is what the latest model was based off. That was up from about 600,000 hours. So it's a lot, right? And so they're going to keep doing that. But what's really remarkable is, since the transcriptions have gotten so good, the ability to then couple other LLMs with that base technology is where we've seen the leaps and bounds, right? So it's from the transcription that we can get an instant summary of a long phone call. It's from that we can get a really good sentiment score. It's from that we can generate an action plan or next best steps or coaching, things of that nature. So it's really what we're able to do off of the transcript are the things that we've seen leaps and bounds in improvement in the last year. And it's been really truly kind of a whirlwind seeing it unfold.
Okay, so let's talk through. So it looks like if anybody has any other questions, please, throw them in the Q&A. Feel free to throw them in the chat. But one of the things I think, Jason, so let's talk like lead qualification, because it's so important, to marketers and to the sales team to make sure that you're really pushing through the leads that they want, that are most qualified, spending the best time in the best places, right? So what does that look like from the CallRail system into a CRM?
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. Our integrations are designed to be very easy to set up. So there are providers out there that are like kind of heavy implementation. Ours are very like one-click type of deals, especially for a small business use case. And in general, we are taking depending on the CRM, we're taking an event like a phone call or a form fill or a text message, but usually phone calls, and we're applying that event to an object in that CRM. So it's going to, what it's typically going to do, I'm trying to speak generally for how we usually work with a CRM, is that we're going to have some method, either a cookie or a phone number or some other, or an email that will then go and let's say go to HubSpot and say, okay, we have this phone call record. It's from this person. We're going to do a really quick look to see if that contact already exists. And if they do, then we're going to update that contact's records with a phone call event, right? And in that, we're going to drop the data that we have, like the recording. We're dropping summary, AI summaries in the notes section, things like that. And if we don't find that record, then we're going to create a new lead record in that CRM and give it that first phone call record.
Excellent. And then based on, or let me ask, it's a question. Based on the content or the quality of that call, can you set up metrics that would then allow you to do lead scoring within the CRM? So it'll push, if it has certain keywords or certain attributes, that it'll automatically, that it can tell it, hey, this is worth 50 points or whatever that scoring system looks like.
We do in Salesforce, we have some custom field mapping that'll let you do things similar to that. Depending on how, if you're that advanced, usually that's going to be a Salesforce implementation. And so we do offer some of that. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm just going through the deck to see if we can, scrub any more questions out of here, Jason, so that we give the breakout room just a few more minutes. So really, looking back through here, are there any points that you want to make sure that marketers leaving this webinar take to heart?
Well, um, I think that like at the end of the day, the biggest point of all of this is that when you try to extract all of that learning from a single phone call by trying to scan that transcript so fast, it's just a lot of time, and you're not going to be able to do it, right? You're not going to be able to get that type of insight at scale. And we can do that for you. And I say we as in CallRail, but also the technology industry at large, right? We can now do that for you, and actually you can see a step change in the ability to understand what's going on in your most valuable interactions, right? And if you're a marketer and if you're not doing that, if you're not leaning in on that technology, then you'll be behind really quickly, because I think for a long time, a lot of AI that was in the marketplace was kind of smoke and mirrors, and that is not the case anymore. The future's really here, and there's a lot that needs to be done. There's a lot more that needs to improve, and we need to be very serious about data and protection and things of that nature. And so those are things that we don't want to hand wave away, but we want to be eyes wide open on. But if we're not engaging and learning, how we can apply these things to the day to day, and especially as a marketer, if you can go from handing over, a dry list of leads to optimizing the quality of those leads by understanding the phone calls and what's driving them, then it's just going to make your business better incrementally.
Sure. And there's so many more insights other than just for lead purposes, right? Because if you're talking about even just quality, or looking at product, for product managers looking to like what our clients actually or customers thinking about our product, it can be a great place to glean some of those information insights from too.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, Jason.
You know,
I
one
think,
other well,
yeah,
I
no,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
make one other thing. There was a comment that was in here earlier about everyone loves being coached by AI, and which I see the sarcasm, and it's very well warranted. As these things progress, we have to remember, I think, that it's a tool, right? And some of the age old thing about AI is like it's coming to take our jobs and things like that, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I really don't see it that way, where AI is the coach. I really see it as a complement to it, right? And so if you complement being able to extract those sort of recommendations really quickly from a lot of different calls, then you just are sped up to be able to optimize your team to have better conversations in the long term. I think that's a key distinction. There's some value, I think, in like getting coaching that's objective, right? The machine doesn't know you personally, or have a bias. Hopefully that remains the case with the tools you use, but that's really the thing. It's really a tool to aid humans to do better work, rather than the tool becoming the replacement of the people.
Yeah, we're just getting ready to release the end of the year. We do our 2 trends books on PPC and SEO. And the big thing, at AI, we're talking about it everywhere, but the big thing is that, the humanity is the piece that makes it most successful, and AI is the sidekick. It's the piece, it's the helper piece, right?
Right.
So I think it's a great way to look at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, well, Jesse just threw another question in here. So, how does CallRail surface and assemble the call insights on a mass scale? Is it sentiment? Is it word clouds? How do they visualize it?
That is, we're very tip of the spear on this stuff. And the the like full productization of the multi-call is still in development, right? So we haven't unveiled what that looks like yet. And if you're a CallRail customer and are really interested in being a part of some of that stuff, like let us know, because we'd love to get your feedback as we roll those things out. No one's doing cross call, that cross call insights at scale yet in terms of in the market. Behind the scenes, that's what we're developing and refining to be the most useful. I could imagine it being delivered in lots of different ways. I think that I think that there's a lot of different implementations for it and how it can look. And I think of it more in terms of like, how do we combine those insights at scale with the right data that we already have, right? So like by campaign or by team or by calls that happened on a mobile device or versus on a desktop, things like that. I see that like the splicing and the dicing is sort of the first big question in refining the quality of those. And then I think that early implementations you might see are a weekly email report of, hey, here is the key trends key trends and recommendations that we're seeing across your last 100 phone calls per se. And then over time, seeing some dashboards in app and potentially things like word clouds. But I think and I've seen some demos of other companies that are doing some similar things, but really it's like, we can tell you how many words are being, like, what are the most common words being said across calls really easily. The real unlock is to be able to extract an insight from all of those things. And that's a big difference. And I think that those are going to be done in probably in paragraph form, right? So, because there's nuance to those insights.
Perfect.
It's a great question.
Yeah, and she said thanks. So she said, makes sense. Thanks for all the info. Amalgamating all of it is a big step. So yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect, Jason. Thank you for amalgamating all of this information and bringing it all together and sharing it with our readers. Before we let you go, tell the people where to find you, how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn as the / Jason J. Tatum. That's the best place to find me personally. And then I'm over at CallRail all the time. Drop me an email, tatum@callrail.com.
Perfect. All right. With that, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. We will see you back here for the next SEJ webinar. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.